They expected a nice cameo, a few safe swings, a couple of smiles, some quick interviews, and then Caitlin Clark would disappear back into rehab, training, and endless debates about her future. That is not what happened. On a warm Florida morning at Pelican Golf Club, in an event named after one of the greatest golfers of all time, Caitlin Clark walked onto the first tee at the Annika Pro-Am, and within a few holes, it felt like the entire golf world had stopped what it was doing just to watch her. This wasn't a WNBA arena. There were no three-point lines, no shot clocks, no screaming coaches on the sideline. Just tight fairways, slick greens, and LPGA stars who make a living on this course. Yet somehow, the biggest story of the day was a point guard. To really understand why everyone was stunned, you have to rewind a little. Caitlin's season ended early. Groin and ankle issues shut her down in July. For months, people wondered if the grind had finally caught up with her. Was the hype too much? Was the schedule too heavy? Had all the attention pulled her away from the work? So when she showed up in Florida for her return to the Annika, this was more than a fun side event. It was the first time in months that fans could see her compete with no restrictions. And the stage could not have been bigger. This is Annika Sorenstam's event, one of the classiest, most respected weeks on the LPGA calendar. Nelly Korda, world number 2 and defending champion, was in the field. The purse, in the millions. The expectations, sky high. Caitlin wasn't tucked away in some quiet group. She was right in the middle of it, paired with Nelly, walking next to legends. Her own Indiana Fever teammates, Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, were in caddy bibs at her side. From the moment she stepped onto the first tee, you could tell this was different. It was early in the morning, but the tee box was jammed. Kids in Fever jerseys and Iowa shirts, older golf fans mixed with new faces who had never been to an LPGA event before. Phone cameras up, TV cameras rolling, every eye fixed on Caitlin. People whispered the same question: can she actually play? She took a breath, set up over the ball, and sent her opening drive right into the fairway. No chunk, no wild slice, no nervous whiff. A few swings later, she hit the green in regulation on the very first hole. It wasn't loud or flashy, but it sent a message. This was not a gimmick. She belonged out there. Of course, it wasn't perfect. Her first long putt came up short, and you could see the frustration pop on her face. This wasn't a photo op smile. It was the look of someone who hates missing at anything. As the round went on, you saw more of that competitive side. After a stretch of tee shots drifting right, Nelly Korda's coach, Jamie Mulligan, offered a quick adjustment. Slow the swing down, trust the motion, don't try to kill it. Caitlin listened, asked questions, made a tiny change. On the next tee, she unleashed her best drive of the day. Balanced, smooth, dead solid. Right there, in one simple swing, you saw why coaches in every sport love her. She can take coaching in real time, apply it immediately, and execute under pressure, even in a game that's not her own. But the moment that truly stunned everyone came a little later. By the time Caitlin reached the 10th hole, she had already put together a respectable card, fairways, greens, and a couple of near-miss putts. That had the crowd groaning with her. Standing just off the green, she looked at a long putt across the fringe and joked that she needed to make one so the crowd could actually go crazy. Then she stepped up and rolled it in. The ball tracked the whole way, dropped straight into the cup, and the place erupted. This wasn't polite golf clapping. This was a roar, kids jumping, fans yelling, broadcasters laughing in disbelief. Because of course, Caitlin Clark called her shot and then nailed it. In that instant, it felt like a basketball moment had been dropped right into the middle of an LPGA week. The same confidence, the same quiet swagger, the same ability to create. A memory on command. Around her, chaos and comedy followed. Sophie Cunningham stepped up on a tee, took a mighty swing, and accidentally drilled a fan in the gallery. Everyone gasped. Sophie sprinted over, checked on them, hugged it out, signed a ball, and turned a scary moment into a legendary story. Lexi Hull then striped a better drive, drawing a mixture of laughs and cheers. That felt straight out of a locker room. All of this happened with Caitlin at the center of it, not demanding attention, just attracting it. And the golf world noticed. Nelly Korda said the scene on the first tee felt like something from a book. Annika praised Caitlin for how much energy and visibility she brings to women's sports. You could feel the respect. This wasn't a famous outsider. crashing a serious event. This was one superstar, helping spotlight another league. Meanwhile, Caitlin herself talked about something simple. She finally felt like herself again. Healthy, free, competing even if this time it was with a driver instead of a basketball. That's what actually stunned people. Not just that she could swing a golf club, not just that she could make a big putt, but that after months away, after injuries, after criticism and noise, she could walk into a different sport and instantly make it feel bigger. If this is what she does on a Wednesday Pro-Am, imagine what happens when she's back on a WNBA floor, fully healthy with the same fire and the same spotlight. The golf world got a taste. The rest of the basketball world has been warned. If you're still watching, drop Annika shock in the comments so we know you saw just how real this crossover really is.
There she is, the woman of the hour, Caitlin Clark, arriving to Pelican Golf Club outside Tampa earlier this morning to compete in the Annika driven by Gainbridge Pro-Am for the second straight year. There you see Caitlin's Indiana Fever teammates, Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull in caddy bibs, serving as honorary caddies out there.
They said the hype was over, that the injuries, the pressure, the non-stop spotlight had finally caught up with Caitlin Clark. For months, her name lived more in debate shows and comment sections than on any court. But on a quiet Florida morning, far from any WNBA arena, Caitlin walked onto the first tee at the Annika Pro-Am and gave every single doubter something they did not expect. This was supposed to be a casual hit-out. Smile for a few photos, hit a few safe shots, wave to the crowd, go home. Instead, it became her first real test since her WNBA season ended in July. No trainer's table, no minutes restriction, just a tee box, LPGA legends, and thousands of fans leaning over the ropes to see if the superstar still had it. You have to understand why this round mattered. Caitlin hadn't played in a true competitive setting for months. Groin and ankle issues shut her down. People questioned her durability, her focus, even whether the Caitlin Clark era had already peaked. Others complained that she was doing too much off the court, chasing appearances instead of locking in on her game. And yet here she was, invited back to one of the premier weeks in women's golf. The Annika, driven by Gainbridge at Pelican Golf Club. A serious LPGA stop, hosted by Annika Sorenstam herself. And now, a WNBA rookie, stepping into that world with every camera pointed straight at her. Her pairing said everything. Caitlin wasn't hidden in a quiet group on the back nine. She was with Nelly Korda, world number 2 and defending champion. Annika hosting, Golf Channel covering every swing. And right beside her, Indiana Fever teammates Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull in caddy bibs, turning a Pro-Am tee sheet into a mini WNBA reunion on grass. When she stepped up to that first tee, it was early, but it didn't feel sleepy at all. The gallery was packed with kids in Fever jerseys and Iowa shirts. Phones up, cameras rolling. This didn't look like a relaxed Wednesday. It looked like a mini major built around one player. Everyone wanted to know what that first swing would look like. Rusty, tight, nervous. Caitlin took the club back, turned through, and sent a solid drive into the fairway. On her very first hole, she hit the green in regulation. No fluke, no bailout. Just a smooth, controlled shot that said, the athlete is still very real. But it wasn't perfect, and that's the point. She left a long putt short, and you could see that competitive flash. This wasn't a happy to be here cameo. She was annoyed at the miss, even in a Pro-Am. The touch needed to come back. But the fire? That never left. As the round went on, the cameras caught something even more important. Caitlin wasn't just swinging away and laughing it off. She was learning on the fly. After a few tee shots leaked right, Nelly Korda's coach, Jamie Mulligan, stepped in with a bit of swing advice. Caitlin listened, talked about swinging too fast, trying to smash the ball, needing to slow down and trust the motion. On the very next tee, she hit her best drive of the day. Balanced, smooth, right out of the center. That tiny sequence said everything. Different sport, same elite wiring. She can absorb coaching in seconds, make an adjustment, and execute under pressure. Golf Channel even mentioned this was the first time since July she'd really felt that rush again. The focus, the adrenaline, the sense that people weren't just watching her, they were expecting something from her. On a golf course, with borrowed clubs, she still wore that same game face. But every big story needs one signature moment, and that moment came on the 10th hole. By then, Caitlin had stitched together plenty of solid golf. Fairways, greens, better pace on the putts. Respectable, steady, safe. But you don't become Caitlin Clark by being safe. She needed something that felt like a true highlight. Standing off the green on 10, she looked at a long putt and joked she needed to drop one so the crowd could go crazy. Call it confidence, call it pressure. Either way, she stepped over the ball, rolled it perfectly, and buried it. Center of the cup. The gallery exploded. It wasn't polite applause. It was a roar. Kids screaming, adults cheering, broadcasters laughing at how on-brand it was for Caitlin Clark to basically call her shot in a different sport and then hit it. In that second, the putt became the golf version of a logo 3. Same calm follow-through. Same easy walk to pick up the ball. Same look that said, yeah, I knew that was going in. Around her, the day kept feeding the camera's moments. Sophie Cunningham stepped up on a tee, swung hard, and accidentally drilled a fan in the gallery. Total chaos for a heartbeat. She rushed over, checked they were okay, signed a ball, hugged them, and turned a scare into a story they'll tell forever. Lexi Hull followed with a better drive, drawing cheers and smiles. These little scenes showed something deeper. They showed the chemistry of the fever outside of hardwood. They showed how much joy and personality Caitlin drags into every environment. This wasn't just a pro-am group. It felt like a traveling show built around her presence. And people inside golf noticed. Nelly Korda said that first tee scene felt like something out of a book. She talked about how crazy it was to see that many people out for a midweek pro-am just because Caitlin Clark was there. Annika Sorenstam spoke about how valuable it is to have an athlete like Caitlin bring her audience into women's golf, and how much that crossover can grow the game. That's the part the doubters never quite understood. They said she was a distraction. They complained about commercials, appearances, golf events. They wanted her to pick one lane and stay in it. But this is the lane. Caitlin isn't just a point guard. She is a force that amplifies whatever game she walks into. While critics questioned her focus, she was out here doing 3 things at once, showing she's healthy enough to compete again. Respecting another sport by playing at a solid level after months away from golf, and using her platform to shine a bigger light on women's sports. After the round, Caitlin talked about feeling 100% healthy. No excuses, no still working back. Just excitement to compete again. On grass now, and soon on hardwood. With international duties and another WNBA season ahead, the message was simple. Her body is back, and so is her edge. That's why this little round wasn't little at all. It wasn't just about scorecards, formats, or pro-am prizes. It was about reminding everyone that even when she steps away, the magnetism doesn't fade. She can disappear from the court, show up at a golf event, and instantly turn it into must-see TV. If this is Caitlin Clark when she's supposedly rusty, imagine her back in a packed arena with a ball in her hands and a full season in front of her. The doubters aren't just wrong, they're late. From a nervous opening swing on a crowded first tee to a called shot bomb on the 10th that sent the crowd into a frenzy, Caitlin Clark turned a quiet Wednesday pro-am into another chapter in her comeback story. The sport was different, the stakes were softer, but the message was loud. If you're still watching, drop Annika comeback in the comments so we know you're riding with Caitlin all the way back.
Coming back with another video, and it looked like Caitlin Clark has broken the damn internet yes again. We have several things to talk about in this one. We have to talk about the Indiana Fever sending a cryptic message to the fans.
While the WNBA struggles to protect its biggest star, the LPGA just rolled out the red carpet. Cameras flashing, fans cheering, sponsors lining up, and all for a basketball player. Caitlin Clark didn't even need to say a word. Her golf swing just exposed exactly how superstars should be treated. But how did a league she doesn't even play for do what the WNBA couldn't? Let's break down how the LPGA turned Caitlin Clark into their biggest headline, and what that says about women's sports right now. When Caitlin Clark returned to the Annika, driven by Gainbridge Pro-Am at Pelican Golf Club in Florida, no one expected what came next. What was supposed to be a friendly off-season appearance turned into a global spectacle. Ticket sales didn't just rise, they multiplied 12 times over. 34 million social media impressions in a single week. Golf fans, basketball fans, even casual sports watchers. Everyone wanted to see Caitlin Clark swing a club. Pelican Golf Club's chief operating officer said it best. This is one of the most talked about women's golf tournaments ever. The numbers are staggering. Last year's tournament already proved Caitlin's magnetism. This year, it's pure madness. Crowds in Iowa and Fever jerseys line the fairways, chanting her name as if it were a Final Four game. And she's not even a professional golfer. The LPGA knew exactly what they were doing. They paired her with golf royalty, world #1 Nelly Korda and 10-time major champion Annika Sorenstam. The goal wasn't just to fill seats, it was to make a statement. Women's sports could be exciting, glamorous, and profitable all at once, if you treat your stars right. And they didn't just treat Caitlin right, they celebrated her. Nelly Korda said, "It was like playing with a friend. She's relaxed, confident, and just really enjoying herself." Annika Sorenstam added, "She's super mature for 22, handles herself so well, and says the right things. She brought energy and fun to our event."
Last year, Clark played 9 holes with USA star golfer Nelly Korda and another 9 with Annika Sorenstam. Quote, "It was an honor to play in the Pro-Am with Caitlin last year. The crowds were amazing, and we are excited for her to return to the Annika in November," Sorenstam said in a statement. She added, "Such a great dynamic to our event, and her passion for golf and competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand. I look forward to having her back and continuing to introduce the great game of golf to the next generation."
For the LPGA, Caitlin wasn't an outsider. She was a gift, a reason to bring millions of new eyes to their sport. And the organization made sure she felt valued every step of the way.
Quote, "I had an amazing time at the Annika last November and participating in the Pro-Am along Nelly Korda and Annika Sorenstam, 2 of the best in the game," Clark said in a statement. "I'm honored to be an ambassador for a company in Gainbridge that is so committed to elevating women's sports. I can't wait to return to Tampa in November to play in the Pro-Am with the best women golfers in the world."
Meanwhile, back in the WNBA, the contrast couldn't be sharper. While the LPGA broadcast her Pro-Am nationally in prime time, the WNBA often hides her post-game pressers behind low-traffic clips. While the LPGA built an event around Caitlin Clark, the WNBA seems terrified of admitting how much she matters. Remember, this is the same player who increased WNBA attendance by over 300%, boosted national viewership by double digits, and became the league's top jersey seller, yet still earns just $78,000 a year. And instead of celebrating that, too many voices inside the league questioned the hype, downplayed her impact, or worse, targeted her physically on the court. While the WNBA worried about control, the LPGA embraced opportunity. LPGA executives built campaigns around her. They promoted her in every highlight reel. They let her be the headline. The commissioner even called her a once-in-a-generation crossover star who brings incredible energy wherever she goes. That's the difference. The LPGA saw what the WNBA still refuses to see. That Caitlin Clark isn't competition. She's transformation. And the results speak for themselves. The Pro-Am was a sellout. Fans drove from multiple states just to catch a glimpse of her practice swings. ESPN and Golf Channel covered her every move, and even the pros couldn't hide their admiration. Players like Lilia Vu, Andrea Lee, and Megan Kong all rushed to meet her after their rounds. It wasn't jealousy, it was celebration. That's what true support looks like. And outside the fairways, celebrities noticed too. Tiger Woods praised her impact. LeBron James called her special. Chris Evert said the WNBA should appreciate her for what she is, the best thing that's ever happened to women's basketball. Paige Spiranak went viral after tweeting, "The hate toward Caitlin Clark from some players is disappointing. Women can be vicious while preaching empowerment. The LPGA gets it. They're letting her shine." This is the turning point. While one league struggles with resentment, another has unlocked the formula for growth, respect, visibility, and value. Caitlin's appearance didn't just move tickets. It proved a larger truth. Audiences want to see women's sports succeed, but they respond to how those athletes are treated. The LPGA gave her cameras, prime coverage, and gratitude. The WNBA gave her bruises, backlash, and silence. That's not bitterness, that's reality. And the irony? Caitlin never asked for special treatment. She just keeps showing up, humble, calm, focused, and the world follows her anyway. Because fans don't fall in love with leagues, they fall in love with people. And that's what the LPGA understood instantly. As Caitlin stepped onto the Pelican fairways this November, surrounded by thousands of cheering fans, she didn't look like someone fighting for validation. She looked like someone who had already won. No drama, no controversy, just respect. It was the perfect visual metaphor. A basketball star outshining pros in a completely different sport, not because she demanded it, but because she earned it. The LPGA's red carpet treatment wasn't about politics or publicity. It was about understanding the moment. They knew Caitlin represented something bigger, the bridge between women's sports and mainstream culture. Every camera flash, every fan chant, every headline proved the same thing. People crave authenticity and excellence. Caitlin Clark has both. Analysts are already calling her LPGA crossover a marketing masterclass. A win for women's sports that the WNBA could have owned if it had embraced her sooner. And maybe that's the real revelation she exposed. Not the difference in pay, but the difference in respect. The LPGA didn't try to control Caitlin. They trusted her star power, and it worked. Meanwhile, the WNBA is still trying to manage it. And in doing so, they're losing her spotlight to another sport. So while the LPGA celebrates, basketball fans are left asking a painful question. What if the WNBA treated Caitlin Clark the same way? Because in one weekend, a golf tournament showed the world what real support looks like, and reminded everyone that respect will always drive the game forward. Caitlin Clark didn't call anyone out. She didn't demand headlines. She simply proved what happens when greatness is appreciated instead of controlled. And that's the biggest exposure of all. If you're still watching, drop Team Clark in the comments. Because no one changes the game like Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's golf comeback was supposed to be a celebration until Kai Trump showed up. Suddenly, a friendly LPGA Pro-Am turned into a political battlefield. On one side, America's most beloved athlete. On the other, the granddaughter of the current US president. What was meant to be a quiet off-season event has exploded into a full-blown rivalry that no one, not even Caitlin, saw coming. But how did a 22-year-old basketball icon and an 18-year-old golf prodigy end up at the center of one of the most polarizing moments in women's sports? Let's break down what really happened and why this story is shaking two entire leagues. When Caitlin Clark announced her return to the LPGA's ANNIKA Pro-Am at Pelican Golf Club in Florida, fans expected another feel-good moment, a glimpse of her fun side during the WNBA offseason. But this year, things are very different. Clark isn't just a basketball player anymore. She's a billion-dollar brand. Her presence alone transforms every event she touches. Last year's Pro-Am was historic. Ticket sales skyrocketed 12-fold. 34 million social media impressions in just a few days. Golfers couldn't believe the crowds. Fans wearing Fever and Iowa jerseys packed the fairways like it was the Final Four. LPGA officials even called it the most talked about women's golf event in history. This year, anticipation was already off the charts until Kai Trump entered the picture. That's right. Kai Trump, granddaughter of current US President Donald Trump, received a special sponsor exemption to make her LPGA Tour debut at the exact same tournament. The timing couldn't have been more explosive. Kai, just 18 years old, is a University of Miami golf commit. Her inclusion instantly ignited a firestorm online. To some, it looked like a political publicity stunt. To others, a masterclass in marketing. But no matter which side you're on, one thing was clear. This was no longer just about golf. Because when you put Caitlin Clark and a Trump in the same tournament, headlines write themselves. Fans immediately split. Some cheered the crossover moment, saying, "This is great for women's sports." Others accused the LPGA of turning the event into political theater. And right in the middle of it all, Caitlin Clark, who had nothing to do with the decision, found herself dragged into yet another controversy. The story quickly became Caitlin Clark versus Kai Trump. Two completely different worlds colliding. The beloved, squeaky clean basketball superstar versus a name that sparks division wherever it goes. As soon as the news broke, the internet exploded. Hashtags like #TeamClark and #TeamTrump started trending. Golf forums turned into political debates. Even cable networks picked up the story. And if the media circus wasn't enough, tension inside the WNBA added another layer of drama. Remember, Caitlin Clark's golf appearances have always been a sore spot for some players. Last year, Angel Reese reportedly threw shade online, posting, "I can play golf too," before deleting the post after it went viral. Many interpreted it as jealousy, especially after Clark's golf clips racked up more views than the WNBA finals. This year, with Kai Trump added to the mix, that same jealousy flared up again. Players and fans questioned why Clark was getting more attention for swinging a golf club than for her WNBA achievements. But the LPGA didn't care. They leaned all the way in. They paired Clark with world number 1 Nelly Korda and 10-time major champion Annika Sorenstam, basically the Mount Rushmore of women's golf. These legends praised her composure and competitiveness. Nelly Korda even said, "It was like playing with a friend. She's that good." Meanwhile, LPGA executives called her a once-in-a-generation crossover star. They built marketing campaigns around her face. They gave her national TV coverage for a practice round. Compare that to how the WNBA treats her. Underpaid, over-targeted, and sometimes outright disrespected. The contrast couldn't be sharper. And now, as the LPGA event approaches, the narrative has shifted completely. It's not just Clark's return to golf, it's her collision with a Trump. The media started running with sensational headlines. Clark's red carpet showdown. Two worlds collide in women's golf. Politics meets the fairway. And insiders claim Clark was caught off guard by Kai's inclusion. One source said she feared the event could become more about politics than sports. But Kai's camp brushed it off, saying she was just here to play golf. Still, the optics tell a different story. Both women are commanding the spotlight, but for totally different reasons. Clark represents the future of women's sports. Record-breaking viewership, massive crowds, and the power of likability. Kai represents legacy, wealth, and political influence. And when the two step onto the same fairway, it's not just a tee-off, it's a cultural collision. The first day of the Pro-Am is already being hyped like a heavyweight fight. Imagine the scene. Thousands of fans waving Fever jerseys on one side, Trump supporters with flags on the other. Cameras zooming in on every glance, every handshake, every smile that could be read as shade. Sports journalists are calling it a proxy war for America's future of fame. Even ESPN anchors are asking, is this good for women's sports or turning it into a spectacle? One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. This isn't golf. It's reality TV with a scoreboard. But beneath all the chaos, one truth stands out. Caitlin Clark didn't create this rivalry. The media did. She just wanted to play golf, raise the profile of women's sports, and enjoy her offseason. Yet she's once again become the lightning rod for everything: jealousy, politics, and the never-ending debate over who deserves the spotlight. When the cameras start rolling at Pelican Golf Club on November 12th, the world will be watching every move. Will Clark and Kai exchange friendly smiles or icy stares? Will the focus stay on golf or devolve into a headline circus? No one knows, but one thing's certain: both women are symbols of how powerful attention has become in modern sports. For Kai, it's inherited. For Caitlin, it's earned. Clark has built her fame on skill, grace, and authenticity, the kind that transcends leagues. She broke records, carried the WNBA to its highest ratings ever, and still earns less than a rookie salary in men's basketball. Kai, meanwhile, is stepping into that same spotlight, not through dominance, but through legacy. And together, whether they like it or not, they've turned this LPGA event into the most watched women's tournament in years. Analysts are already calling it a marketing masterstroke for the LPGA and a missed opportunity for the WNBA. Because while the LPGA celebrates Clark's crossover appeal, the WNBA seems more focused on controlling it. As one analyst put it, the LPGA rolled out the red carpet. The WNBA set the traps. And maybe that's the real story here. Not Caitlin Clark versus Kai Trump, but how women's sports keeps choosing drama over unity. Still, fans are ready for the showdown, because whether it's golf, basketball, or politics, this rivalry has captured everyone's attention. And at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark doesn't need to win the tournament to make history. She's already proven something bigger, that her presence alone can change the game. If you're still watching, drop Team Clark or Team Trump in the comments. And let's see which side really wins this rivalry. It's about to get messy.